Hey everyone, so I'm going to show you how to view dimensions in SolidWorks parts and assembly files. So first I've got a part file here, it's just a test block. It's got some extruded features onto it. And so one thing I want to know is what is the overall size of this block? Well, the first way I can view that is just clicking on the top surface. So if I click on the top surface, I can see that it's 8.5 by 11 inches by 1 inch tall. Now, this works great for a lot of features, but for some of them, if they have additional features attached to them, don't work so great. So if I click on the top left boss here, it's showing me that it's 3 inches, which that looks correct, but it's also showing that it's 3 inches wide. And I can see that the dimension isn't really lined up with any of the edges on the part. So that's because I added an additional cut feature on the side here to remove some material. And when I just click on this top face, it's not picking it up accurately. So one easy way to measure the length of a particular side is to just click on an edge. So if I click on this edge here and look down at the bottom, it shows me that it's 1.5 inches. And if I click on the edge on this side, I can see that it's 3 inches, like we saw when we clicked on the top face. So we have two ways of viewing the dimensions then, just to click on a face and to click on an edge. And that works great, again, for a lot of features, but what about one like this? So if I click on the top face, I can see that I'm looking to find out what the overall length is. So from this left face here to this right face here, I can add up these numbers, sure. I can say 4.0 plus 1.0. Okay, that's 5.0. That's pretty easy. And likewise, if I wanted to go from this face to the bottom face over here, I can see that it's 3 inches, adding up the 2 and the 1. But perhaps, this will be a more complex shape that I want to measure. And so another option is to actually use the measure tool. So if I go up to the Evaluate tab, and then I click on Measure, and then I can select the two faces that I'm interested in, and it shows me that it's 5 inches. Great. So I can also do the same to figure out the other side and see that it's 3 inches. Now sometimes you run into the case where these are actually overlapping. So for example, the DZ here and the normal distance. So you can actually just click and drag these around and move them out of the way to reposition them. So now let's jump over to the assembly. So in an assembly, the measure tool and the line selecting the edge work just the same, but if you want to try and select a face, it doesn't work. So what you actually have to do in an assembly is double click. So if I double click on this, then it brings up those same dimensions that we saw before. And kind of as an interesting side note, you can edit the dimensions directly within the assembly. So if I want to change this 1.0, for example, I can double click on it and then just type in 1.25, refresh, and you can see that it increased the height of my part. So if I go back over to the original file and click on the edge, I can see that it changed to 1.25. So let's go back over to the assembly. So suppose I want to take a measurement from this purple cylinder here to the face, this face right here. Perhaps I want to use this as an indexing feature and see what is the largest block that I can actually get inside of here. So what I would do is I'd go back up to the Evaluate tab, click on Measure, and then just select the faces. So the edge of the cylinder, click the face of this boss that I'm interested in, and I can see that it's 5.5 in the Z. And that's actually going to the center of this circle. So if I want to see what the minimum is to actually fit a block inside there, what I can do is go up to the measurement window, go over to the arc/circle measurements dropdown, click on that, and then drop down to minimum distance. And now this will give me the 4.767. So that would be the longest block that would be able to slide inside of here. So now another question though is, what if I want to find the minimum distance between this face here and the edge of this cylinder? So I want to see what could I slide inside of this particular channel. So the way that I would do that is actually do it with a sketch. So left click on the top face, click on sketch, and then I'm going to hit Control 8 to go normal to that surface. I'm going to go up into my sketch tab and select the drop down for the line, click on center line. And you can actually do this with a regular line. I just like doing it with a center line if it's for a reference dimension. And then I'm going to pull this line about as close to the center of the circle vertically as I can. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here with my mouse wheel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to the side of the circle. And then I'm going to pull another line off and grab the center point of the circle there. And I'm going to hit escape to get out of the line tool. I'm going to select the last line that I created with left click and then click on make horizontal. And then I'm also going to click on the line I made before that and click horizontal. And now I should see that my sketch is fully defined. So all of my lines are black. So at this point, the way to figure out what the distance is I could just click on this line here. So if I click on that and then view the bottom right, I can see that it's 0.255 inches. So I could also go back to the measurement tool, click on the evaluate tab, go up to measure, click on that line, and it shows me that it's 0.255. The last way I can do it is actually go back to the sketch tab, select smart dimension, pull that off, and I can see that it's 0.255 as well. So any of these ways will work. I prefer pretty much just clicking on the line. I think it's the easiest, but it's going to be whatever your preference is. Now let's just go ahead and exit out of that sketch. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Thanks.